I'd like to take a look at a few properties of logarithms that will help us manipulate and use this later on for solving expressions with logarithms. So these are going to be some rules that are not based off of exponential things, that we're not going to try to convert logs to exponents, but we're just going to stay within the world of logs and try to do some manipulation with these. So the first rule says that if I have log of a times b, so by the way, this can be any base. The base doesn't matter. But if I have multiplication on the inside, I can rewrite this as log of a plus log of b. Now, the base will stay the same. Whatever base I give you, you'll want to keep the same. But the important rule says that if I have multiplication on the inside of a log, that becomes addition on the outside. Next rule says that if I have division on the inside of a log, that is going to become subtraction on the outside. So log of a divided by b is log of a minus log of b. So the top number, the top thing over here is the positive one. The bottom one is going to be the negative one. And then the last rule says that if I have an exponent inside this, so if I have log of a raised to an exponent, b, what I can do with this exponent is I'm going to move this out front. So this becomes b times log of a. So exponents, as long as this whole thing is raised to an exponent, that exponent can get moved to the front. If the whole thing is not raised to that exponent, then you cannot do that. But as long as the whole inside is, bring that out front. So let's take a look at some examples of applying these. So if I look at log of x squared, we ask ourselves, is the whole thing raised to the second power? It is, right? The whole inside is raised to the second power, so I can move this 2 out front. So this is going to be equal to 2 times log of x. Here, if I have log of x plus 3 times y plus 3, well, again, I see here I have multiplication on the inside. So this becomes log of x plus 3 plus log of y. Now, the question we'll have to start to ask is, can I go further? Can I simplify this even more? Now, this is one of the biggest areas where students make mistakes. You have multiplication on the inside, that becomes addition on the outside. We do not have a rule if you have two things being added inside the logs. So here, if you have adding on the inside, this stays. You cannot do anything about this. This has to stay as x plus 3 on the inside. Can't simplify it any further. So make sure you stop at this point. Here, log base 4 of x squared times y cubed. We see exponents. We're like, oh, exponents. Okay, can I move the exponent out front? Ask yourself, is this whole thing being raised to an exponent? It is not. The x is being squared. The y is being raised to the third power. So you cannot do exponents first. So what do we do instead? Well, we see the outermost function. The thing that's really taking place is like the biggest outside thing is multiplication. I have an x squared times a y cubed. So I'm going to do the multiplication rule. So I have log base 4 of x squared plus log base 4 of y cubed. Base stays the same in all of these. Now, here we can continue going because now the whole inside is raised to their powers. So I can now simplify this as being 2 log base 4 of x plus 3 times log base 4 of y. And this is my final answer. This is as far as I can simplify it. So over here now, if I use log base 7 of x cubed divided by y to the 4th, again, the whole thing is not raised to an exponent, so I need to do the division first. So this becomes log base 7 of x cubed minus log base 7 of y to the 4th. So I do the division first, that becomes subtraction on the outside, then I bring down my exponents. So this is going to be 3 log base 7 of x minus 4 log base 7 of y. Now this next one, again, when you see this ln, you should be thinking that is just a logarithm, but it is base e. This is my natural log. Now this one has multiplication and division in there. So again, we look at this outermost function, this outermost operation that's taking place, and that's going to be division. So I'm going to do the division first. So I'm going to have log, or natural log of xy minus natural log of zw. Now I have multiplication on the inside. I have to separate that with addition on the outside. So here I get natural log of x plus natural log of y. Now I have a minus in front. We have to use parentheses. Whenever, if you have a number or a minus, that will need to be distributed to everybody. So I'm going to use parentheses here to say this is natural log of z minus natural log of w. Sorry, plus natural log of w. So because I have multiplication on the inside, this becomes addition on the outside. But the negative, if I distribute this, both of these terms would have negatives. So that's why we want to make sure we have the parentheses there. So this last one, this ugliest looking one, that if you can feel good about this one, you should feel good about this property, these properties, and expanding these. I look, and the first thing I'm going to do is division. So I'm going to do division. I'm going to do log of x plus 1 raised to the 5th times y to the 2/3 minus log of z to the 9th. So I have the top is the first one, and then I subtract off the bottom. Then with this one, the next operation I can do is multiplication. So I'm going to do that. So now I have log of x plus 1, this is raised to the 5th power, plus log of y to the 2/3 minus log of z to the 9th. So now I have this fully expanded with multiplication and division that I'm allowed to do. Now I can bring down my exponents. So I bring down the exponents. 5 goes out front, 2/3 go out front, 9 goes out front. So I have 5 log of x plus 1 plus 2/3 log of y minus 9 times log of z. So now I've done this. Now I look at each of these and say, can I simplify any further? Well, we know log of x plus 1, this can be simplified by doing nothing. Nothing. Don't touch this. Let this just be x plus 1 on the inside. So this is my final answer. I cannot simplify any further. So this is what it looks like with doing these various rules, making sure that you're just able to process through when are you allowed to do each of those, and then you should hopefully become comfortable with this. So definitely practice through these. If you do have questions on any of these, why didn't I do X, Y, or Z, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those.